So it turns out that there was fraud in the 2020 election.
First, we know a year later in 21, a bunch of Iranians were indicted in Manhattan on charges that they interfered in the election and hacked into a state database to obtain voter IDs and use them in a mal-influence operation against the American election. Now we know there was a second country that was more deeply involved.
Kash Patel has produced evidence that the 2020 election was rigged with help from the CCP. And while he's at it, he's taken down more child trafficking rings this week. Trump has scored more courtroom wins, and RFK Jr. calling out Big Pharma, torching the WEF, and promising great things for healthcare out of the big bill. There's a lot of really important news that got overshadowed with the Israel-Iran conflict this week, and a lot of it was really, really good news. So I'm going to go through it all with you. Let's get into it. Once again, the conspiracy theories are proven right, and the difference between a conspiracy theory and the truth is time. Kash seems determined to provide Congress with any and all documents that they need in order to figure out what kind of corruption has been going on in recent years. The FBI has released documents proving that the CCP worked with the Democrat Party and used ballots marked for Joe Biden that were flown in from China days before the election.
The more I read the piece that you published and saw what Kash submitted to Chuck Grassley, there are several levels of this that are concerning almost beyond belief. The Biden first family through Hunter Biden and China CEFC Energy was taking $5 to $10 million in consulting fees from Chinese energy firms as Hunter Biden was flying on Air Force One to China with Vice President Biden in order to secure those deals. Biden's CIA director, Bill Burns, took millions of dollars from China. Tony Blinken, the Secretary of State, was the managing director of the Penn Biden Center, which took millions of dollars from China. So all the way up and down the entire foreign policy establishment of the Biden administration, they told us there was no foreign interference. Now, how does the FBI know this, and the CIA know this, and the DHS task force, who is responsible for stopping the domestic side of this operation, not be informed?
I actually saw the document and got some of the quotes from it. It was circulated to the Department of Homeland Security in addition to the CIA. So they were, now it doesn't say CISA, it does say DHS, so at least the senior component got it. And when it was called back, they asked all those agencies to destroy it. So it was sent out to Homeland.
A specific tweet by Donald Trump on June 22nd, rigged 2020 election, millions of mail-in ballots will be printed by foreign countries and others. It will be the scandal of our times. DHS's censorship network specifically cited that tweet as one of the reasons they needed to scramble to form this wide-spanning, totalizing censorship operation. The fact that they specifically were set off by tweets by Donald Trump insinuating that foreign countries may be printing ballots or taking advantage of the mail-in ballot system in the operation that Kash just laid out, while DHS had inside classified knowledge that that is exactly what was going down and that Donald Trump was in fact correct.
The Chinese used thousands of fake ballots in order to defeat Trump. Not only that, but the FBI has been involved in taking down a massive child trafficking ring. 244 child sex offenders arrested, 109 children rescued.
Operation Soteria Shield was a month-long operation conducted in April. The goal was to identify children who are victims of online sexual exploitation and bring their perpetrators to justice. 109 children were identified and given resources. This operation was run in conjunction with the National Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force. Investigators were able to identify the victims through images and videos and arrest hundreds of suspects.
And again, praise to Kash Patel and Dan Bongino. The media is not going to do it, so let's do it here. Also, after about a week of waiting, a federal appeals court has unanimously blocked Gavin Newsom from taking back control of the California National Guard from President Trump, which just shows you that even with all of the emotive talk and accusations that the Democrats like to do, they don't actually have a leg to stand on. Pete Hegseth continued to stand up to this style of manipulative argument in Congress this week.
Because if it were, you would be keeping these women in. Instead, you are the one injecting culture wars into the military, and it's at the detriment of our military readiness and national security. Now, General Kane, I'd like to turn to you.
So to be clear, these are men who think they're women.
These are women. I'm happy to educate you on
but these are men,
on trans
and so
issues at another
what we've
time.
identified is that there's mental health issues with that belief system.
I'd like to turn to General
are
Kane
detrimental
now.
to readiness, and that's the determination that we've made and that we stand behind. Gender dysphoria.
And so you don't.
RFK Jr. has been doing some incredible work since he started in this administration, and the latest is that he's going after Big Pharma's grip on television and mainstream media. TV networks face advertising apocalypse after Trump admin mulls pharma restrictions. RFK Jr. warned their paycheck is being paid by the network. Their salaries are actually coming from pharmaceutical companies. He added, "They gotta toe the line. They're not giving us the real news." CNN reports that could cripple some broadcasters. It's kind of funny to see CNN saying this, but for decades, pharmaceutical companies have shelled out big bucks to broadcasters to place ads between TV segments. While not an outright ban, the two policies would make it significantly more difficult and expensive for drug companies to push their products across broadcasters' airwaves. The policies look to either mandate that advertisers elaborate on the risks posed by their drugs, which would force the ads to be longer and therefore more expensive, or bar drug makers from writing off direct-to-consumer ads as business expenses on their taxes, also padding the bill. Basically, this would kill two birds with one stone. It would stop the pharmaceutical companies' ability to take advantage of the loophole that allows them to essentially buy out media companies by paying for very expensive advertising. But it also means that a lot of these news stations that aren't supplying people with anything of real value anymore because of the fact that they're not reporting honestly, they would disappear. Drug companies spent $5.15 billion on TV ads in 2024. So that's how much it takes to buy out the media so that they never report anything negative about you. Another small win for common sense. This week, the Supreme Court upheld the Tennessee law banning child sex changes. More good news from RFK Jr. At the end of last week, he announced that the big bill includes a $75 per month healthcare program where you can get a concierge doctor who's available 24/7. No bills, no insurance claims.
It's going to help us do what we need to do with healthcare in this country, is to improve the quality of our healthcare and lower the cost and give Americans more choice. One of the things that it does is it allows health savings accounts, which are very popular with the American people, so that you can put pre-tax money aside to pay for certain things that are relevant to healthcare. For example, gym memberships will be paid for. For $75 a month, under this bill, you'll be able to get a concierge doctor who is available 24 hours a day, every day of the week, every day of the year. And you'll be able, and you won't get a bill for it. You won't have to file insurance claims. It's just like old style healthcare, but it's for $75 a month. We're also going to allow the creation of on-site medical centers by employers at factories, at workplaces where workers can get treated for free. So somebody won't have to leave work for 4 or 5 hours to get a medical checkup. They'll be able to do that on site. There are many, many other really great things in this bill that
very
we need to get it passed.
At the moment, a lot of this is still all talk, right? But if the administration keeps focused on America first and on the priorities that they ran on, I think that this could, some really, really great things could come into place in the next few months. Just to finish off with some little news bites that are worth knowing, this brain surgeon has named 3 substances that fight every mechanism of Alzheimer's without the side effects. Natural methods of healing like this are forever going to be ignored by the pharmaceutical industry, but I think it's just worth knowing in case it ever applies to you. And lastly, the man with the world's highest IQ has given his take on the afterlife. I haven't watched this yet, so let's have a look at what he has to say.
In this video, I would like to share my idea, my thoughts about afterlife. I think our consciousness continues beyond death, definitely. Our consciousness is not just brain activity, but it is something deeper. I think you believe this. Science says that when the brain stops, then our consciousness disappears. You believe this now, but quantum physics says that information never disappears. Never. It only changes in forms. If our consciousness is quantum information, it may continue after the body is gone. For example, like computer data stored in the cloud, our consciousness may not be trapped in the brain. Quantum entanglement suggests that our consciousness is part of a bigger system beyond the physical world. Some scientists and philosophers believe that our world may be a simulation created by a higher dimension of being, which I believe. If this is true, then the death is not the end, but a shift to another reality. Just like a video game character disappears, but the player still exists. Our consciousness may continue in a higher dimension like this. Many people with near-death experience says they saw their bodies from above or felt warm light and peace. They say they felt warm light and peace. These experiences seem like moving from one system to another, I think. So, if reality is part of something bigger, then death is not the end, but it is a transition, shift to another reality. Science is growing now, and we are learning more about consciousness and reality. Our death is not destruction, but change and shift. Humanity will keep searching for the truth about what comes after life. Thank you.
Science proves already that there is so much that we don't understand, and I do believe over time science will prove the existence of an afterlife. We just aren't there yet, but personally I think it'll happen. Anyway, it's just interesting. I just want to give a really big shout out to Chris from Life's Journey Life Coaching for the Buy Me a Coffee. It really means a lot to me. They said your message and the presentation of such are not only relevant but needed for a peace-filled world. Thank you so much. It really means a lot to me to think that I am contributing something good. So yeah, very glad that you're enjoying it, and thank you. That's it from me for today. I'll see you guys next time.